Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We are here today at the Hamid Mosque in Chino, California. We have just celebrated the blessing of a Jummah with our beloved Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, Ayat al-Arab Nasr al-Aziz, and I'm here today with some of my fellow colleague missionaries from USA. On my far left here is Maulana Inamul Haq Khalsa Sahib, mashallah, Mubashir Ahmed Sahib, and Maulana Shimshad Nasr Sahib. We are missionaries of the USA Jamaat. Myself, I'm Azhar Hanif, and today we want to discuss some of the blessings of this great prophecy that we're witnessing here, the prophecy that made Teri Tabligo Zameen ke Kanaron tak panchaunga, and I will cause thy message to reach the four corners of the earth. We're in the one corner of the USA, the west coast. It's as far as you can go from east to west, except for the Hawaiian Islands, and yet it's a long journey. So we want to talk a little bit about how that message came from Qadian and it reached the USA over a long period of time, but here we are today thinking about the blessings where our Khalifa with us. So I'd like to perhaps talk a little about this subject, turning to the early history, because there's a lot of phases in this whole process. Our early history, where our missionary came in 1920, up to today, where many missionaries have come since then. But in that initial phase, Mubashir Sahib, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about how the condition was and how did the message reach from Qadian to the USA?
It's very important to know that Muslims were in America before our missionary arrived, but they were disorganized. They were not preaching Islam. They were not conveying the message Islam. It was the Prophet Muhammad himself that his message came to America in his lifetime, and people like Alexander Webb wrote to him, and he accepted Islam through him. He wanted to become his missionary also. And then, of course, there are many other incidents that happened.
Yes.
We don't want to go into detail of those.
Yes, but that's very interesting. Yeah. You said that during your lifetime of Prophet Messiah himself, yes, the message of Islam Ahmadiyya reached America.
Oh, yes.
Huh?
In a very effective manner. At least 20 newspapers covered the story of Alexander Dowie when he challenged the Prophet Messiah.
Yes,
but
yes,
after Hazrat Mufti Muhammad Sadiq Sahib arrived, it was in January 1920, and he lived only for 3 years in America. But the message was spread, and he started the first Muslim magazine, the Muslim Sunrise,
yes,
which
yes,
is still working and which still spreading the message.
So the missionaries have been coming since 1920.
That's correct.
Initially there were a few missionaries, but we see more and more coming now by Allah's grace and mercy, and it's helping the message to spread in America.
That's true.
So perhaps picking up from there, we can see some of the events of those early missionaries, how they were able to enter America and change the hearts and minds of people to accept Islam. What were some of their challenges, Maulana Sahib?
I've been actually in the USA since 1981. I have met several new converts, or you say new Ahmadis. I have seen them dedicated to the service of Islam. They were so deeply involved in the service to Ahmadiyyat, and they were so deeply with the love of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu and the Prophet Messiah. I will quote, some of the early members of the Jamaat. There was Muhammad Sadiq Sahib of New Jersey,
yes, yes,
Bashir Afzal Sahib,
yes,
and there was Umar Bilal Ibrahim from New York.
Yes.
I shared, just one incident of Brother Sadiq, which he shared with me. He was a great musician in the USA. When he came to know that music is discouraged, he just left music. And then, before he was making like thousands of dollars a day, then he mentioned that he came to make only $30 a week. That was his, sacrifice which he made for the Islam and Ahmadiyyat. And I have seen that he was well known in all over New York and New Jersey Jamaat. Whenever we go for the exhibition or bookstores, people always, talking to him, addressing him.
It's a blessing that as you're speaking, it reminds us that Islam Ahmadiyya came to give life to the people. And yet we're in an age now where people see Islam as something that takes the people's lives. The Muslims going over to blow things up and destroy the world. But here we're saying Islam Ahmadiyya came in this country and gave that sign of the dead coming to life, the blind beginning to see, and the deaf beginning to hear and speak. And it's a wonderful thing. This is what missionaries have been experiencing. So there's so many examples of it. perhaps Maulana Shimshad would add from his own experience something what he's seen.
Of course, first of all, I will say that I came 1987 and I was in Africa. Maulana Muhammad Siddiq Shahid Gurdaspuri, who was mission in charge here,
Yes.
he took some pictures of the activities of the Jamaat here
Right.
in Africa.
Right.
So I asked him that, will you give some photos and slides to me? He showed me. I was very surprised to see that time, and now by the grace of Allah there is a great change that they are celebrating Washington Eid prayer.
Eid prayer.
Only few people are there in Eid prayer, only few people. And there is a small place where they have hung the curtain. One side is man, one side is woman.
Yes.
And a handful people only. But by the grace of God, today I see so many jalsa I have seen here. When especially Khalifatul Masih visited the 4th Rahimullah in Masjid Baitur Rahman, Maryland, 10,000 people. And last year, 11, 12,000 people when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Hamid Sayyidullah bin Aziz.
Even
you
here,
see
even
here,
Chino, you
right,
see, you are a missionary.
time.
You're a missionary in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Maulana Shimshad
Kausar
Sahib
Sahib.
has been missionary here in Los Angeles. Think of the changes we're just witnessing today.
This is the first time
this
that
facility.
it is the first time that we have seen so much crowd today by the grace of Allah, who said their prayer behind us, Khalifatul Masih Khamis Ayyatullah bin Aziz.
Yes.
So I think that time, and even when Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahmatullah came in 1987, Masjid Washington DC, everything was done there. You can see how many people can come there. And after that we have Masjid Baitur Rahman in Maryland, Masjid Baitul Hamid and other places area. So it is all together by the grace of Allah and under the shadow of Khilafat. That let me tell you, let me tell you one, this is very important. All this progress is under the shadow of Khilafat by the grace of Allah.
Indeed.
We are enjoying, and while others are deprived. And we will continue to enjoy.
We have this message we all heard today from our beloved Khalifatul Masih Khamis. And he's saying now it's diversity. This is a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual nation. And he wants us to go for that look in terms of Jamaat. And I think this is the new era that's opened up to us. We're seeing it here today. The Bayat we had today, we have people who are Latino, African-American, we have European descent, all of us coming together, Asian brothers and sisters. It's a wonderful feeling. So maybe in closing thoughts you have on this idea of how we're going to move forward and achieve this great task.
This is a must because Islam, especially through Ahmadiyyat, is international. We cannot be just one nation or a few nations. We have to include everyone. In Silicon Valley, where I live, there are Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and of course Spanish-speaking people. So we have to go, we have to learn their languages, and we have to also know something about their cultures. But our message is universal, and it has to be the same message of peace, love, and tranquility to bring them in.
This is the message of Islam, and this is what we have been struggling to do for the last 90 years or so. In 2020, we'll have 100 years of Jamaat, but we have this vision. And we hope that now that slowly or surely we'll see, as Azur said today, we'll see victories, we'll see revolutions in this nation and throughout the world. So alhamdulillah, we appreciate the fact that the viewers join us today. And on behalf of all of the MTA staff and all the missionaries here and all the workers, we say assalamu alaikum and jazakallah for joining us in this session. And please keep praying for the USA Jamaat that we will reach this great milestone and this great goal that our Khalifa has given us. And inshallah, we'll see the victory of Islam Ahmadiyya in this hemisphere, in this nation, this part of the world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
सद शुक्र है तशरीफ यहाँ लाए हैं आका हम एक हैं हम एक हैं हम एक रहेंगे हम एक हैं हम एक हैं हम एक रहेंगे सद शुक्र है सद शुक्र है सद शुक्र खुदा का सद शुक्र है तशरीफ यहाँ लाए हैं आका